All right, this is a lecture over, I'm kind of calling over families, but we're going to cover a couple different things in here. And the reason I kind of want to talk about families in general and kind of focus on is, at least this one, is not just families, but actual manufacturer families that we can get for particular or specific projects that we want in our project. And it's important, I think, from architectural standpoint, interior standpoint, when you're wanting to create some really nice renderings to show a client or show in a portfolio or something. There's a lot of great programs that with a click of a button you can just create a rendering. And if you have the specific families that you want to show or that you want to use, and you can kind of create that virtually, I mean, that's one of the biggest goals of kind of Revit and using that tool as a BIM model. Now, on the construction side, it becomes even more important because when we're really starting to deal with the trades, when we're dealing with mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and we're trying to fabricate parts and components out of the BIM, we're trying to build ductwork or make something more specific in there, then having the exact manufacturer's model that you're going to purchase or buy in there and that you're BIMing up, that you can fabricate a piece of a pipe or part or duct out of, or even the electrical connection to it, is a huge advantage. So that's kind of the goal of this lecture number 3. It used to be about furniture, but I think it's kind of evolved where it's more about bringing in, finding these families, putting them in, and seeing what the program can do. On top, since we are going to kind of build some of the light fixtures in that we have, we're going to build ceilings in here, so we'll start kind of show how ceilings are built. And then we're also, I downloaded an Inkscape rendering program, and then maybe we can kind of play around with the finishes. That way we see how that rendering program works, and then we'll go and we'll pick up some manufacturer families. All right, let's go and get started. So if you look under Project 3 here, I go ahead and have an example project that we can just download, open up into Revit, and kind of get going. Give this just a minute here. It's loading up. I'll center it up. I'm going to pause this while it loads. It's taking a bit. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so let me center this here. So it's a very simple building. It's nothing, doesn't look that great right now. We got some wood windows. We got kind of some black roof, some other items in here. So the first thing that we want to do is, as we're kind of going through this, is let's talk about, hey, how are ceilings done in Revit? And it's really pretty easy. So if we go over here to our side, we have our different floor plans that we have set. We have level 1 here. I'm going to rename that. I'll just name it first floor. Okay, but whenever we're dealing with ceilings, Revit makes an actual ceiling plan. So we have a whole nother separate tab. Usually there's floor plans, 3D views, elevations, sections. There's different ways, but ceiling plans are always kind of built on their own. So here's just kind of an overall view of everything that we have. So this right here, one thing I do want to do is we have all of our walls set. I want to hit SA. I'm going to select all those walls. So I just did quick key select all. I'm going to extend that unconnected height. Right now the walls stop at 8 foot. I'm going to put my ceilings in at 8 foot. And so I need that wall to kind of extend up a little bit higher so I can dead that ceiling into that. So I'm going to put 9, 0. Okay, so now all my walls should be 9 foot tall. Okay, and so kind of where that's set from. Hope you guys have picked up on that. I'll cut a little section here. So we can see now our walls beforehand didn't go all the way up, but now we have them set there. Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to go back to my first floor plan. So you can see here it looks pretty basic. If I pick on my actual floor plan it's going to look a little different. We have a little bit more defined stuff. So starting to pick up fixtures, just starting to pick up room names, etc. It's also picking up the doors and everything that's kind of set there. And it's kind of on, let's do hidden lines here so you can see it easier. So back to my first floor. Ceilings are pretty easy. If you go up here to Architecture tab, go over and select Ceiling. All right. We had a couple preloaded ones that are easy to deal with. There's a basic ceiling, which would be, I don't know what that would be really. It's just kind of a ceiling that's in place. Normally we're going to have a chip ceiling, we're going to have a 2x4, or we're going to do a 2x2. I'm more of a 2x2 person. It'll cost a little bit more. So one thing is you can come in here and right out of the gate, it's going to give you a highlight. So I can select that, and then it gave a ceiling for everything. Well, I don't really want to do that because I'm not 100% sure that I want a ceiling over in this area. So I'm going to hit undo, pull that back. I'm going to go back to ceiling. And this time, instead of automatic sketching, I'm going to put sketch ceiling. And I'm going to just start with the ceiling in here. The other thing you want to be sure that you check is how high that ceiling is going to be. I'm going to run that ceiling at 8 foot. And once I'm done, I want to hit green check mark, finish edit mode. Okay, now I have a ceiling that's kind of in there. It automatically adjusts the ceiling. One thing, as you'll see, is kind of what when you lay out your lights or do different things, you may want to adjust that ceiling just a bit. So all I do is just highlight one, just hit my arrow keys, make it. One thing you want to avoid just in ceilings is this would be kind of a tough design, but tough install. So if you see here, there's just a very thin edge, very difficult to install, a little bit of waste. So you want to try to avoid that. You want to try to keep, as you're laying out your ceilings, you know, try to keep it balanced as you can, centered, you know, and try to stay away from those small little slivers here. Okay, that's going to be pretty close depending on, you know, how we want to lay that out. Tagging ceilings, pretty easy. We can do annotate, tag by category, and hopefully you can tag that ceiling. And there's not one loaded. Do you want to load one now? Say yes. So if I come here, let me find my annotations. Give me just a minute to find this ceiling. Architectural. I want ceiling tag with height. Or we can do a ceiling tag. I'm going to put the height in. All right. I'll keep my leader there. All right, so that kind of tells me the exact ceiling that I have put in there and how tall my ceiling is. So that's pretty good. So that's kind of basics of ceilings. I'm going to go ahead and put one more ceiling here. So this is the restroom back in this area. Let me check my planning. I don't remember when we got a mechanical room. I don't want a ceiling in there. Restroom, I'll put one in there. I'll put one in the conference room, but I'm going to leave kind of open areas in conference, reception, and mechanical room. So I'm going to go back and do the same thing here real fast. I'll just let you guys do that as well. I want it here. Another one here. And another one. This office. All right, so I have my ceilings put in. This one here, not a good one. Stretch that out, balance it. a little bit. This one seems okay. That one looks okay. So that's it. All right, so I can TG, tag that ceiling. I'll tag this guy over there. So we got H1 set. So pretty easy to do ceiling. So let's move on to the next thing that we have. So we got ceilings kind of crossed out. All right, we'll move to Inkscape. So I'm new to this program. I've downloaded it. I've seen a lot of architects using it. Every time I see it, I sit there thinking to myself, wow, that's a cool tool. Because even if you're kind of moving around and doing design and mechanical stuff, if you really see what that architecture looks like, it's going to change what you do about your design. Because you're going to see if that pipe's in the way, if that duct's in the way, if that light's in the way, if the structure's in the way. Hey, it just gives you a better feel for the space. So Inkscape, if you haven't used it, is just kind of a, let's go to Inkscape 3D. So it's a plug-in that you can download. I just downloaded the free version right now. It's actually pretty affordable. So what it does is by a click, you can take into it and it automatically takes where they're using Revit, SketchUp. I think there's a couple other ones. Rhino, which I've never used before. ArchiCAD, which is an Apple-based Revit, if you want to try that one. And you can play the demo here, but I'll let you guys kind of do that on your own. Once you kind of get it downloaded and you have it plugged in, it's pretty easy. Once you just have an Inkscape tab up here. So now I have an Inkscape tab. I'll hit the start button. Okay. Lo and behold, again, I'm just doing a trial. I'll continue my evaluation of this trial. So what it's going to do is it's going to take this and create a 3D view. And once I have it up, I can navigate it a little bit. I can go in. I can see what's going on. So I'm going to move into my space here. I hope you don't get too dizzy. Move into the space. Okay, so now we can start seeing where all the ceilings are set. Everything is really wide open. Now we're really starting to see the colors. There's not a lot of great colors here. We got a concrete floor. We got some orange wood with some red trim. Kind of not very, very nice. So let's kind of scoot around here. Okay, pretty basic. Have it set. One thing I like that I did like about this is I could change. See down there in the very lower corner, I can actually change kind of the way the sun. So if I'm doing some daylighting or something that I have with a client or whatever, I'm kind of going throughout the day to see what it looks like. So I'm coming back here. I'm going back to the early morning. So that's the east side. Sun's coming in. And we're at 5 o'clock. So it's really dark. So you can have kind of that really cool rendering that's going on. Okay. Then I'm going to come outside the building there. And so what I'm going to do with this Inkscape here just a little bit is I'm going to play around. I'm going to start putting a couple families in here. And then we can see how that kind of works together. So one thing I kind of wanted to start with, which I think is here, is I have this outside of a building here. So if I want to change kind of what that red brick looks like, we can do that. I might have to move this to the side here. I'll see if I can't set both screens so you can kind of see what's going on. This will be a little bit smaller. I have noticed as I was kind of playing around with this, my graphics card was kind of really having some problems. So it does take a little bit of graphics. I have a 3D view here. I'm going to highlight this wall. Let me find the same wall. Same wall would be good. It'd be this one here. I'm going to edit type. Okay. So I'm going to select that wall. I'm going to hit edit type. And then I'm going to go to structure and hit edit. Okay. So we haven't really talked much about assemblies. We'll kind of talk about that kind of lecture 5 or 6, I believe, where we start actually building like what a wall would be. So but we're just using the default now. So there's my brick common. So if I click on that, it's going to bring up the different properties that I have for the graphics part and what that appearance is going to be. So, one thing that I have here is I got my brick. If I click here, I believe I can change, what that's going to look at outside. So I'm going to go with let's just say I haven't done this, so we'll see. A little beechwood toasted brown. See what that does. It kind of has a wood there. So now once I apply that, my rendering fix over here. So now I'm doing some different wood types. And I believe, I don't want to get too, I believe I can change the color of it. I don't want to mess with that actually right now. Cancel that. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'll let you guys play around. To me, that kind of looks like a reasonable finish on there for now. Looks better. I'll hit apply, hit OK, and now that I have that set. So, one thing is, what's the difference really between, the rendering here and the other one? I think it's just able to fly through on that side. All right, so that's kind of how you change some of the fixtures and colors next to your walls and stuff as you're working on presentation. Is you want to identify the family, and you want to change those edit types, and you want to play with the different structures. So if we want to play with our inside chipboard, place a color on it or something, that's where we would highlight that chipboard and try to fix our appearance on that. Okay. All right, so next thing that we have here, I'm going to go back to my list. Now we've kind of changed finish, played around with Inkscape. Pretty neat. We're going to look at manufactured families here. All right, so the first one we're going to look at, I'm actually going to look at furniture first instead of lights, and we'll move on to lights. Okay. So if you haven't already, I know it's be kind of new for probably more so for CM students versus the interiors, but very helpful for interiors if you haven't. So I'm going to pick up here. I'm going to go to, I just kind of plugged in here really fast. I think I just Googled Herman Miller Revit models. So great chair, pretty easy to find. We just click on this and we have our different models that we have brought up. I want to say there was a better one here, 3D models. Okay, so now we can go through, we can pick our different chairs that we have. We can select by product category. I'm going to do office chairs. And I'll let you guys pick whichever one you want. I'm going to go with the Mirror 2. I'm going to download the Revit file. Okay, as you're downloading Revit files, I'll hit save, okay. I really want to create a new folder on your desktop where you know where all these are at. One thing that's kind of been tricky from over the years, let me open this up here. Now I can just take my downloaded, I'm going to put it into that Revit files folder. When I open that up, if you guys just kind of pay attention to this, that little Z, it's a zip file. This does confuse quite a few people as they're downloading it. You really have to right click and then extract files. I'll just say extract here. Okay. So what we've done is all these manufacturers build those specific models that are in there, right? And they want you because they want you to use it. There's really two things that comes with it. There's the actual model, and then there's the data that comes with it. There's always this little text file. So this text file has, certain parameters and set points that are in there that are important. It has to do with color. It has to do with, do they have arms on there? Do they have angles? Do they have everything? So you can see if you order a mirror chair, there's an amazing amount of options to choose from, and and they've created this text file that's going to reference that. Okay, so the next thing is, how do we get this into our Revit file? So we're here to really get that stuff in. You want to hit Insert, Load Family. Okay, and then I'll hit my desktop, and there is Revit Files. Then I can open up that specific Revit model, and there's all sorts of ones to select from. I'll let you guys pick one, or highlight a couple. I feel like the bottom ones are going to be more. I just have to non-adjustable. I don't want adjustable. No arms. Just pick a couple. I'll hit Control. Hit OK. All right, now I can hit Architecture. I believe it's Component. If I slide over here, I have the different Herman Miller chairs to select from. All right, I'll put them in the conference room as well. Probably going to use some cheaper chairs in the conference room. That's a good start. All right, now that I have those chairs, let's see how that Inkscape looks now. All right, now my chairs are starting to get in there. Start to see how those lay out. Here's my chairs down in there. Now we kind of see it still looks pretty bare. So nice, we have a nice desk in there, but now we're actually getting the right models that are fitting in there to be able to create something. Okay, let's go back and see if we can't pick out a desk here real fast. See if they have a simple desk we can pick out. Product category. Conference tables. Side chairs, stools. This one looks nice. It's a Nelson X-leg table. A good name. Again, we need to extract that. Extract here. Go back. Let's see what this looks like. Insert. Load family. Put the X table in. Got a couple of different sizes. I'll do the small one. Architecture component. Larger into my conference room. All right, now we got those set. Maybe that'll load now. Yeah, there's my table in there. Oh, got a table in there now. Oh, that's an old desk. It's kind of an old one. I put the wrong one in there. There we go. Okay. All right, so now we kind of have the furniture set. Now let's go look at placing some lighting in here. Probably going to be best to place it in these offices. Go underneath. Kind of gets a little tricky there. Get a nice set. See what we can do to put a light in. So I'll go to a couple manufacturers here. One is just Eaton Lighting. They have a good group. There's Eaton Lighting right there. I'll click that. Products. I just want kind of a nice little troffer that's kind of setting in there. Eaton has a bunch of different to choose from. You just have to go along. I think one thing that's probably the hardest thing, especially on interiors and architecture part, is knowing what light to find. There's so many lighting manufacturers out there. It's hard to know what's going to work, what is a good one that you can pick out there. So Eaton kind of handles them all. Here's an architectural one. I'm going to try to pick a, look at this Cruise ST. Kind of looks neat. Again, I'll come down here. They'll have the Revit file. And I'll kind of go through the same process. It's all a zip file again. Oh, didn't do that one right. I need to save the file. Drag it over. Extract here. All right. Now I'll go back to my first floor plan. I'll hit Systems. And then Light Fixture. Load Family. There's my Cruise Metalux light fixture. Again, we want to find the exact model number that's going to be fit in here. I'm going to pick a, this one right here. It should be a 2x4. I'm going to place it on the work plane. It did not show up, and I'm hoping it has to do with my light fixtures are not set. Try this again. I'm going to put a place on face. There's my light fixture. Place one here. Place one there. And I'll go ahead and place the other fixtures as well. I want to see if this one shows up correct. Looks like it is in my ceiling. I don't know what there's my other one. It's on the floor. Delete that. And let's see how it looks in our Enscape view. All right, now we have the fixtures in there. It's actually showing us a little bit of light. I'm just curious if I'm going to go towards the end of the day. Lo and behold, we are doing the morning. Our lights are actually working, so we can kind of get a feel for how that kind of fits in there. So this is kind of nice. It's important that you use those manufacturer light fixtures, because if they do, they have, I'm going to show you this family here real fast. Edit family. See this kind of a web that's going on. It's called an IES file. Illuminating Engineering Society file. So when it has that file in there, it tells Revit to give it some type of light source that's in the actual model. All right, so that kind of covers light fixtures there. You know, one thing that we might want to do, let's see if we can't play around here just a little bit. NeoRay makes some neat stuff. Maybe we can do a suspended one. Try this guy here. Suspended one. Save file. You spend a lot of time just sitting here downloading files all the time, let me tell you. This may take just a bit to get right. I hope not, but you never know. Go back to my ceiling plan. I will hit System, Light Fixture, Load Family. Here's my suspended. And I'm going to pick an, give me just a minute, T5HO. I don't have an LED one. It's okay for what we're doing. This one takes a little bit, so I'm going to suspend these fixtures down in this area. So what I got to do is I kind of want to see where my roof's at 2.8, and let's say I want to suspend those fixtures down here, maybe 4 feet below. So I'm going to see if I can do this right. I hit that light fixture. I'm going to place on work plane. I'm going to select my roof. And then my suspension length. I might do something like this. Actually, I wouldn't do that. I want to change fixtures here. I'm going to select the 8-foot. Place on work plane. 0. Went upside down, flipped it around. Should have been -4. I think that would work. Rotate this here. Ooh, didn't like that. Flip that down. try to do something cool here, and we'll see how that looks on the rendering side. It looks somewhat neat. Alright, that's kind of setting there. There we go. Nice and bright in there during the night, but it's kind of a neat looking function in there. So it's kind of nice how those renders work together. Okay, so kind of have a lighting. That'll be all kind of set there. Let me go back to my list. Kind of got furniture, lighting. I just want to go over one more thing, HVAC equipment, because we can sit here all day long and we can do nice cool renderings, but at the end of the day, it's kind of what you have to deal with here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a mechanical equipment. I preloaded this air conditioning unit, so it's just a rooftop unit. I'm going to set that on the side there. Okay, and kind of cut a section. Right now it's just sitting on the ground. Oh, here's a rooftop unit, but we have to be sure we're going to place that up here. Okay, so I got that set. First floor. I think I can see it because of my view. But if I look at my rendering side, come out. Okay. All right, now we got something on the roof that we got to hide or we got to keep. We have something going. There's that red box. Red box is just the clearance around there, kind of the way it looks. Should be able to fix that here. Edit family. And I'm just going to delete that. Load the project and close. No. Override existing versions. Okay. So now we have the rooftop unit. That could be sitting on the ground as well. That's where we might want to try to look at increasing our parapet height. Take that up to, let's see, 16.0. Okay, the reason we're doing that is we're trying to hide that rooftop unit up there. Try to make something a little better. I don't know if we have some preloaded items here. My view range. Start running our ductwork down. Let's run a little bit to the space. The fittings aren't loaded in this model. Okay, so now we got to try to start incorporating all of our ductwork in there as well. I'm just kind of coming down and dropping it in there. Yep, it doesn't have the fittings loaded. That's okay. You guys kind of get the gist of it. Okay, so I want to go back to the first floor plan that we have set there, and then the 3D view that we have going. And what I want to do is just kind of create a quick sheet here so you guys can upload. We can go ahead and make a E-size sheet. It'll be fine. And then let's put in 3D view here. Actually, I want to work on something else here, guys, so I'm sorry to kind of change on that. We're actually going to open a couple sheets here because I want to practice on as we do multiple sheets together. So we're going to include one new sheet here. I'm going to hit right click and I'm going to hit rename. I'll just call it A1. I'll say 3D view. Okay. So we got one here. If you could, one thing I did do, I did change that to the B 11.5 by 17. Put your name in here. Lecture 03. All right, I'm gonna right click on sheets and hit new sheet again. I'll do 11.5 by 17. And let's put the first floor plan in. Everybody to change the scale to an 1/8. It should fit on there. Okay, one thing we need to fix are how these items are on the outside here. We want to delete those so it'll print fine. So what I'm going to do is go back to my floor plan and I'm just going to highlight them and delete it. Okay, so now if I go back to my sheet here, setting over here, get it set. So let's just keep the ceiling plan on the same thing. So I'm going to drag over my ceiling plan, and that's at an 1/8 inch. So we'll have two sheets we're going to submit. So we got our first floor plan is here. Detail 2 is our first floor, says first floor plan, but it's a ceiling plan. And we start kind of having our ceiling layout. And one other thing, I just need to rename this here. A2 floor plan. Okay, so the thing we want to work on now is the way we print this. So I want to print these together into one PDF, even though and I have two sheets on it. Okay. So the way I do that is I'll hit File, Print. I'm going to select Bluebeam. One thing is, I do, if you have a computer that has Bluebeam, that's great, and if it works. I think we've had a lot of questions come up. If you have like a QPDF writer, any other PDF writer, Microsoft Print to PDF. So they all work if you don't have the Bluebeam available. So I'm going to click, Bluebeam. I'm going to hit select here, and these are where I can select all the different views, the floor plan views, or I can select my sheet views, which are more important. So down here I'm going to unclick views and click the two sheets that I want. I'll hit OK, no, and then I'll hit setup, and then I want to be sure that I select 11.5 by 17 or 11 by 17. Hit OK. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to be sure that you say combine multiple select view sheets into a single file. So if I select this, I'll hit OK. All right, then I'll let you save that wherever you want. I'm going to say Revit Files, Lecture 3. Nelson, And then let's see, be sure this opens up here. You should have one PDF, multiple sheets. So there we have our wood siding and everything set up. I click the next page. I'm going to have my sheet set up with my furniture and my ceiling. So I want you guys to find that, upload that up to the portal. Be an easy 10 points there to kind of knock out. So one thing to note on your the Inkscape, if you guys want to download that free, you don't. I mean, that's kind of up to you. There's nothing to kind of submit with it. It's just kind of up to you guys if you want to. There's a leave the lights on there. Right? That's not good. Somebody's working late. Anyway, kind of leave the lights on. Oh, I'm sorry. Back to Inkscape. You can just kind of download this on your own, kind of play with it, or it's just not part of the requirement. I just wanted to show you some of the software packages that are out there. So, all right.